Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Emerge. I'm your host, Tiffany Boyle, and this week we will be discussing with Dorothea how to make a divine decision and hear Deshana's 2 cents about finances. Oh, people, today we have an information-full show for you. Definitely get out your pen and paper to take notes. This show will definitely help you emerge into home ownership. And there are even some tax advice, okay? Taxes, people, some tax advice embedded in today's show. So you have time to grab your pen and paper, make sure to take notes. We are celebrating Home Ownership Month this month of June. And this topic is near and dear to my heart, as I believe owning a home is an amazing thing to do, right? It takes so much work to get it. You have to give so much of your information up. But once you do, and once you sign that paper, paper, or shall I say, you feel pride, like in yourself, good pride, not like boasting, bragging kind of pride, but you feel pride in a way like you haven't before. It's not like going to buy a car or, buying some clothes. Like you're buying an entire home that you can create for yourself, for your family, or somebody else. But I definitely believe it is something that all of us should strive to obtain. There's so many benefits from owning a home, or more than just one home. But I won't explain them because I am not the guru. I will let our 2 guests, our 2 subject matter experts, explain those benefits. So coming up, we are speaking with PJ Parker, a realtor from Berkshire Hathaway that just happens to be in the Hampton Roads area, and Dr. Willard Maxwell, broker and owner of Maxwell Realty. But of course, before we get into that, we are going to tiptoe to the CEO corner. Thank you. Thank you for tiptoeing and making your way over and joining me in the CEO corner today. Since we are celebrating Home Owners Month or Home Ownership Month, I want to talk to the CEOs about getting personally ready. Now, getting personally ready is so broad, right? But when I talk about getting personally ready, I mean be ready for everything. Team, stay ready. Be ready financially, credit-wise. Have your elevator pitch ready to be said on spot at any time. Be ready physically, emotionally, spiritually. Just be ready. So be personally ready on paper. Have your resume ready, your social media intact, your LinkedIn page up to date. I can't tell you how many times I go look somebody up on LinkedIn and their stuff is so old. And I'm like, well, they don't even pay attention to LinkedIn, which, LinkedIn is not my first social media outlet to go to, but I definitely go to it when I want to make a professional connection. So have multiple versions of your bio. Personally, I have a small bio that I send to be read as an introduction because no one wants to hear a long intro about somebody. I have a bio on my website. I have a longer bio that is to be sent to people, like if I want to be on a board or if I'm already on a board and they want to share it, things like that. So if you don't have a bio or multiple versions of your bio, most executives have some kind of bio online. So you can go, you can find it, you can figure out what you can talk about that fits with who you are and what you do, but definitely have it. Get your credit in order. Your credit doesn't have to be an 850. Actually, it's so funny because some of us ladies and myself were just talking about this on Saturday at the Ladies Around the Globe 757 Brunch on the Rooftop event. One of the questions one of the ladies asked was, what's your credit score goal? Some of them were shooting for an 850. I'm like, not me. I just need the rate that all the banks won't say no to. An 850 sounds great, but I'm like, let me just get to the point where if I go and I apply for something, a bank is not going to be like, no. Plus, I personally like to work on my credit because then I feel like I'm making small goals every time my credit score goes up. That's just me. But as we are talking about being personally ready and home ownership month, having good credit does go a long way. It's a process. So it's not an overnight thing, but make your plan, stick to it. That's the hard part, or at least my hard part is sticking to it. I'm like, yes, I'm going to pay this credit card off, which happens often, but then I go use it again. So pay it off, don't use it again, or be smart about how you use it if it's part of your plan, and you will achieve it. So my tip for your CEOs out there is to be personally ready. Hashtag team stay ready. And I'm Tiffany Boyle, and that's my tip from the CEO Corner. Whew, okay. I enjoyed that segment because I love personally being ready. It's like, I actually don't know what it's like. It's in my head, and you guys can't see me dancing. So you are tuned in to Emerge here on WHOV 88.1. Now coming up is PJ Parker, a realtor from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Town Realty, to talk with us about the difference between a realtor and a real estate agent, importance of owning a home, and how he got into the business to become your favorite realtor. I'm Tiffany Boyle. You are listening to Emerge here on WHOV 88.1 and iHeartRadio. If you would like to partner with us and have your business spotlighted on the show, please contact us at emergethemagazine.com. Follow us on social media. You can find us at Emerge the Magazine.
Hello, we are here with PJ Parker, who is a realtor with
Berkshire Hathaway.
Thank you. How are you doing today, PJ?
I'm very well, very well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. And you know, this is National Home Ownership Month, so I feel like you are our perfect guest to talk to us about home ownership and how you help people become homeowners. So just open up and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, man. So, as you said, my name's PJ Parker. I go by your favorite realtor. I'm a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway. We are an international company. I work out of the Hampton office. I service Virginia Beach to Williamsburg. That's my service area. So anything outside of that, I would have to refer out. But yeah, I'm a realtor. This is my 7th year doing so. I love what I do. I want everybody to buy a house. When I first started, my little tagline was everyone deserves a home. I still believe that to be very true. That's it.
So how did you become a realtor? What was that process like?
Oh, man. How much time do we got?
You got a little bit of time.
I'll give you the quick version of it. So it was never my plan or my goal to become a realtor. So I was in the apartment industry for 5 years. I managed apartments. And I got to the point where I could not advance anymore. You know, I was managing apartments. So I said, how do I make more money? And I put together a strategic plan. I said, well, I'll go to real estate school. I was working for Abbott, a company called Abbott at the time. They've got a big property management division. So I said, I'll get my real estate license. That way I can manage rental homes and I can manage as many homes as I want. So I can make as much money as I want, right? So that was the plan. So I would work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and I would go to real estate school from 6 to 10 at night. Well, like the last week of real estate school, the brokers started coming in, trying to recruit the newly licensed people. And I met a broker. I interviewed with her. It was actually in Williamsburg. She said that she had a property management position that was available. I interviewed very well. It was a great interview. We talked about her kid. We talked about my mom. I just knew everything was okay. And she leaned back and she said, yeah, PJ, I am not going to hire you. And it was like the record skip. Like,
wow.
That was very rude of her. Right? She said, I want you to be a realtor. I said, well, that's not what I came here for. And again, the short version of the story is she was very, very persistent and she got me into real estate. And I haven't looked back since. Absolutely love it.
Very nice. So how long was real estate school?
So I did it. They offer all kinds of different schedules. I did it, like I said, 6 to 10. I think it took 30 days. It wasn't that long. I abused my household obligations. My grass was super tall. People thought I moved out the neighborhood. I didn't wash any clothes for a month. But I told myself I can do anything for 30 days. So got it done. Actually failed the real estate test the first time. At that time, 48% of the people who took it failed it. I was one of those 48%. I went back the next week, though, got my license, and started real estate. Like I said, never looked back. This is year 7, thank God.
No, that's awesome. So you didn't let one setback keep you from, being who you are today.
Oh, there is absolutely no way you can have a career in real estate if you let obstacles set you back. I say that because in a transaction, and I know Tiffany's a homeowner, I believe, Shana, you are as well?
Absolutely.
So you guys have been through the process. The process is extensive because there's so many moving parts. You depend on so many people. Each side has their own team of people. So everyone has to be on the same page. And it is not uncommon for closings to be delayed, appraisals to come in late, appraisals to come in short. So again, if you're not a problem solver, you probably don't want to become a realtor.
All right. Just talking on that process, the first time I bought a home, I'm like, some of my life I do really good with planning out. And sometimes I'm like, on a whim, this is what I'm going to do. So I remember I was in a townhouse and they were increasing the rent. And I'm like, nope, I'm getting a house. I'm not paying your increase. And instead of me I was young in my early 20s, instead of me looping my parents, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to just go through this process. And then we were doing some homeowner inspection. I said, hey, Dad, I'm buying a house. He's like, what? Like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, I'm buying a house.
Found out about it?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm buying a house. I'm going to get the keys in like a couple weeks. And I had so many issues with my very first house, right? So the second time around, I'm married. I'm in my 30s. I have a family. We got his mom and dad. My mom and dad was like, we're going to do this thing the right way. So yeah, it's a pretty extensive process.
It is. And it's things that's out of your control. Like, I can be the greatest agent in the world, but I'm not the other side. Sometimes we work with agents who aren't as pressed as we are or as trained as we are. By the way, do you guys understand that there is a difference between a realtor and a real estate agent?
No.
Are you aware of that?
Tell me the difference. I thought they were just used interchangeably.
Yeah, most people do. I didn't learn it until I got into the industry myself. So we are very happy to carry the designation realtor. There's actually 3 major differences. The first one is the coursework. So in order for a realtor to renew their license, which agents, we all have to do every 2 years, but we take more coursework. So ultimately, anyone with a realtor designation is going to be a little bit more educated in the field. The second one is what I perceive to be the biggest one. It's the code of ethics. Realtors, we have to abide by a code of ethics. If I do something that is unethical as a realtor, I will get reprimanded for it. There's a whole process that we have to go through. Real estate agents do not have that. They might get disciplined by their office, but that's as far as it goes. I could lose my license for doing something that's unethical. The third one is a resolution panel. So if 2 realtors get into some kind of dispute, we have a panel that we sit in front of and we handle it amongst ourselves. Real estate agents, again, they don't have that. So
I did not.
Now, when it comes to the deal, the commissions are the same. Mm-hmm. But again, I would suggest someone with the realtor designation.
I had no idea. I've never heard that before.
Right.
Yeah. Most people don't, man, and that's why my tagline is like your favorite realtor and it's not your favorite agent. Like, that's kind of like protein. I've had people say that to me and I'm like, it's your realtor,
Now I'm going to start paying attention. It's like, you're just an agent. According to PJ, you're just an agent. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, don't put my name in that. But
I'm going to put your name all in there.
Like I said, the money is the same. Yeah, I got to work with these people now. We do deals with real estate agents as well. It's not like it's realtor to realtor or agent to agent. So, and that's where the coursework comes in. Sometimes agents aren't quite as up, but I guess I could say the same thing about some realtors too.
Right. So I have a question. So since, June is National Home Ownership Month, do realtors do anything special during that month to, help create more homeowners?
Yes. So we have to advertise for ourselves. I mean, our companies have, marketing departments and things, But for the most part, we're independent business owners. We own our business. So this is a great month for marketing. It's June, the summer's kicking off. It's our busiest month in real estate. So I think we take advantage of that and we just use it to advertise. I send out a lot of collateral to my past clients. I'll send out Christmas cards, Thanksgiving cards, stuff like that. It's a good opportunity to send out the new interest rates, which are through the roof right now. Just informational pieces of collateral like that to keep them up. So it's a opportunity to reach out to what we call our sphere, our people that we've worked with in the past, just to kind of stay connected and stay in front of their mind.
Gotcha.
So what's some advice you would give to someone who doesn't own a home, but, is thinking like, I would like to own a home, but they're fearful, like they don't know what their credit is like. They don't know if they make enough money. What's your advice to those people?
Oh, I deal with so many of those people. It seems like I am a magnet for first-time buyers. I absolutely love it, though, because they trust you. Sometimes when you deal with people who's been through the process, they kind of know it, they know their stuff. But I would say, one, save as much money as you can. If we're talking about buyers, save as much money as you can. Money talks in America. It's always going to help you in a deal. I would say make sure you trust your realtor a lot because you're going to have to lean on their expertise. They're going to guide you through every step of the process. So picking the right person, whether it's a realtor or an agent, is really, really important. You have to trust your loan officers if you're being financed for the deal. You just have to make good decisions about the people you put around you. At that point, then you got good people around you. They'll guide you through it. I have to hold people's hand through the process all the time. It's okay. It's what we do. I'm a gentle person.
I got a question for you. How do you, or have you ever had to deal with the client who, like they've gone through the process and you know what they're qualified for? Like you have their financials, but they are insisting that they look at houses that are over their price range. Like, how do you handle that situation?
So it happens so often. Once they get, like, if it's finance, you might get qualified for $350,000. And that's one of the questions I ask them initially. Okay, you're qualified for this amount, but what are you comfortable with paying monthly? So if you qualify for a $350,000 mortgage, but you're only comfortable with a $250,000 payment, I'm not going to show you houses outside of that unless you insist. Now, technically, I do work for you. So when you ask me to show you that $1 million house that you only want to pay $1,200 a month for, I have to do it. It's I'm a realtor, code of ethics. I have to do that. I just remind them of what they told me initially. Hey, you told me this was your comfort zone. Now, again, I have to show it to you. If you pull the trigger on this house, then we spoke about it and do so knowing that you're out of your comfort zone. So that way it's not on me. I expressed it to you over and over again. And your lender did too. So it's tough sometimes, though. It is tough, especially in this market. There's been a lack of inventory since COVID, and it's created a frenzy in this market. Oh, my God. So because there's a lack of inventory, everybody's competing for the same house. Over the summer, it was terrible. I remember I came out of showing a house, and it literally looked like that scene on Boys in the Hood where all the cars was lined up before Ricky and them started shooting. There was like 30 cars lined up outside the house, all around the corner. And I'm like, this is crazy, man. That market has done that. So it's starting to slow down a bit. I think that's a result of the interest rates rising. Another friendly tip with interest rates, they usually mirror gas prices. So going forward, when the gas prices rise, the interest rates usually go along with them. It's the same thing with the rental market too. Once the housing market increases, the rental prices usually do so too. Just a little nugget. But yeah.
Wow.
The market's tough, right? You need a good aid to navigate it because now it's not about, so let's say you're buying a house now, you're probably going to compete with 1, 2, maybe 3 other people. Mm-hmm. If it's a very desirable house, you could be competing with others. And that's when the realtor designation comes in because now we have to incorporate details in the contract that will make your offer stand apart from others. It's not just about the money. The house is going to appraise at a certain amount. If you got a ton of cash to guarantee that you would pay over what it appraises for, that's a different story. Most people are not in that scenario. So you can only throw so much money above asking price. And
Right.
That's when the education comes in. That's when you want to look at your closing dates. Can you close sooner? Can you do a home inspection for major issues only? There's little things like that you can do that would allow your offer to stand out. And luckily, my last couple of buyers, that's how we won. It wasn't the amount of money that we offer. We were definitely competing with people, but it was the details in the contract.
Wow. Yeah, I'm so happy about my house in 2019 because I can't.
Yes, you just missed it. Yes.
I did.
Yes.
I wouldn't survive in this market. I was like, oh, there's so much going on. And I kind of feel bad for the first-time home buyers in this market. Not for the sellers.
Man.
The sellers made a killing, but buyers.
Well, the sellers are feeling it too, and it's like a circle of problems. So the reason the inventory is still so short or so limited is because nobody wants to sell because they don't have anything to buy.
Right.
So until we figure it out, it's just a revolving door. So I'm like, I got a lot of people who are willing to sell, and my houses are selling very quick right now. I remember maybe 2 months ago, I put a townhouse on the market. It was $170,000 townhouse. We got 22 offers. 22 offers.
Wow.
In 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's a little overwhelming.
Well, with that being said, let everyone know how they can reach out to their favorite realtor.
All you have to do is look in the mirror and say PJ, 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 and then I will appear. So you can find me on Facebook. It's just PJ Parker. You can actually Google me, PJ Parker, the realtor. I work with Berkshire Hathaway. You can go to berkshirehathaway.com. You can look me up. You can also find me on Realtor.com. You can find me on Zillow. You can find me on Trulia. All of those feed from our local MLS. I have access to it. I am very available. I am willing to work for the people. All is well.
Awesome. All right. So this is about to be like the toughest question you would have ever had to answer in your life. Are you ready?
I prepared for it.
You prepared, see?
I prepared. You're going to ask me, what does emerge mean to me? What does the word emerge mean to me?
Prepared. Absolutely.
Ready. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Emerge is when the results of your efforts becomes visible to the world. At that point, you have emerged.
Come on, PJ.
I like it.
Hold on. I dropped the mic. I stepped back like
drop
the mic.
Let me write this down so we can add it to our answers. What is it?
It is when the results of your efforts become visible to the world. At that point, you have emerged.
I love it.
So, PJ, how long did it take you to come up with that?
4 days.
But that is great. I love that.
Well, I was gonna go with this whole metaphor about like submarines when they come to the water surface, and then it just got all weird. So I said I should probably talk less. Yeah.
I'm happy your definition emerged along the way.
It got better, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on the show. Telling us all about, real estate and encouraging people that home ownership is the way to go as we celebrate Home Ownership Month. Thank you so much.
Yes. Keep in mind, the market is tough, but we are still working. We are all still closing deals. Don't be discouraged. Just make sure you do your homework and hire the right person, and you will succeed. You will emerge.
Love it. And now we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, stay with us. We will make divine decisions with Dorothea.
This is a guided meditation on parenting. Take a deep breath in and let go of the time you and your son played basketball and you attempted to slam dunk. Or when you hit that piñata into your neighbor's yard. Let it go.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Gina Pemberton, president of the National Hampton Alumni Association. Our time is now. This is our moment to define what being a Hamptonian really means. At a time when the relevancy and impact of HBCUs is without question, it's absolutely critical that we all engage, work together, and give back to our home by the sea. Engaging as an alumnus means to join your local alumni chapter, mentor a current student, and donate regularly. Join your local alumni chapter now, logging on to NHAAINC.org. Keep Hampton's legacy strong for generations to come. Keeping you informed, we are Smooth 88.1 WHOV.
Welcome back. I'm Dorothea Schuler, and you're tuned into WHOV 88.1 iHeartRadio, and you're listening to Emerge Wednesdays, the radio show that's all about entrepreneurs and business and is the premier information source for business owners. We at Emerge aim to keep you informed and up to date. So if you're just tuning in, June is Home Ownership Month, and Deshana and Tiffany just spoke with PJ, your favorite Realtor Parker of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. He's on the board of directors for VPAR, the Virginia Peninsula Association of Realtors, as well as he is the membership director for the Women's Council of Realtors. So if you're looking for sound, accurate, and solid advice on one of the biggest decisions you can make, purchasing or selling your home, he's your man. So to catch up on his interview, as well as any of our previously recorded episodes, you can do so by going to www.emergethemagazine.com. Okay, so it's time for you to join me as we emerge into our greatest potential by making a divine decision with Dorothea. Anyone who truly knows me knows that I'm an extremely technical person. And so I feel in order to make a good decision, it helps all of us for me to really elaborate on what a decision is. It's defined as a conclusion or resolution reached after consideration. And divine means excellence. So we're making an excellent decision. And today, that decision is to be diligent. So, diligent. What does it mean to be diligent? The dictionary, and yep, I love resources, defines it as having or showing care and conscientiousness in one's work or duties. Conscientiousness, that's a big word and an adjective of diligence. It is the quality of wishing to do one's work or duty well and thoroughly. So there's an ongoing theme here. Hardworking, attentive, persevering, all of these are qualities and characteristics of diligence. My interpretation is that if we are diligent in our efforts, whatever they may be, our lives will produce the fruit thereof. One thing I'm diligent in is my desire to obtain knowledge and to apply wisdom to that knowledge. So daily, I choose to read a chapter of the book of Proverbs. There's 31 chapters, and so I read one according to each day, and then I start over at the beginning of each month. I diligently seek wisdom from this book daily, and I believe it's done exactly that, helped me to become more wise. I've heard it said best, a proverb a day keeps the foolishness away. Anyhow, one proverb in particular that speaks volumes to today's divine decision states, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes to poverty." Wow. Did you catch that, Jewel? If we are diligent and consistent, it is sure to produce an abundance in our life. And when we aren't diligent and are hasty, it will produce the opposite, a life that is sure to be impoverished. Now, that's pretty deep and something we should really ponder. So I say to you, friends, let's all dive into the decision to become more diligent. This will help to consistently emerge us into a level of opportunity, success, and fulfillment that takes hard work, perseverance, and the tenacity of being diligent. So join me today by emerging into your best life and make the divine decision to be diligent. Knowing this decision will ultimately help to shape and create a path that reflects a light of excellence in our lives. Again, you're listening to Emerge Wednesdays on WHOV 88.1 iHeartRadio, and this has been another Divine Decision with Dorothea. And speaking of decisions, we at Emerge would love for you to decide to be a part of Emerge Wednesdays by submitting your response to our signature question, what does the word emerge mean to you? Share that with us on our IG at Emerge the Magazine. This week's response is from Louise Boyle of Access, Virginia. Emerge means to break through. Wow. So everyone, let's break through to access and emerge into our best lives. Thank you so much, Louise. And you can follow her on IG at Access Virginia. That's AccessVirginia. Up next, Tiffany and Deshana will be speaking with Dr. Willard Maxwell Jr. As a proud resident of Newport News, Virginia, Dr. Willard Maxwell Jr. is a native of Atlanta, Georgia, where he served as an educator, an administrator, and as a principal in the Atlanta public school system. Dr. Maxwell holds a Master's of Divinity degree from Morehouse School of Religion, a doctorate in educational leadership from Argosy University, a Bachelor of Science in Exceptional Education from Georgia Southern University, as well as a pastoral counseling certification from Emory University. He is the senior pastor of New Beach Grove Baptist Church in Newport News, Virginia, and educates and equips those he is called to serve through biblical yet practical teaching. With an extensive background in real estate, Dr. Maxwell is the CEO of Maxwell Realty, LLC, and takes pride in leveraging his business skills to conduct workshops for churches and communities. He is a results-focused leader who diligently partners with and works alongside those whose mission is to serve, protect, and strengthen the local community. He serves as a volunteer police chaplain for the city of Newport News, is a city planning commissioner, serves on the board of the Newport News Police Foundation, and is an adjunct professor at the William Harvey Leadership Academy at Hampton University. He is not only a silver lifetime member of the NAACP, but he is also the Newport News chapter NAACP president. So let's check out his interview coming up next.
Hello, Dr. Willard Maxwell. It's so good to have you on the show today. We are excited to talk more about Home Ownership Month, and we know your company does so much for the community, not only selling houses, but really teaching people about home ownership and how it is starts generational wealth. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always an honor to be with you all. Thank you so much.
And can you tell us a little bit about yourself, more than what we've already stated?
Okay, well, yes, I'm the broker and owner of Maxwell Realty, LLC. I've been doing real estate for 25 years, and I've had Maxwell Realty for 22 years. So I've done real estate for a number of years, as you can see. I'm only like 27. And then I also I started my company here in the midst of the pandemic in 2020, when it seemed like it was the craziest time. But, you know, I was in prayer about it, and God told me I could open it then. And I never would have imagined, and a lot of people never would have imagined that real estate was going to go that well in the midst of a pandemic. So I'm definitely walking in blessings right now, and it's just an awesome thing. I'm also on the board of review for the real estate assessor's office for Newport News. So I'm able to my responsibility is to hear hearings and judge whether a company's taxes should stay the same or lowered or even raised. Thank you for appointing me to that as a commissioner of the revenue, and also serve on the planning commission, which also gives me insight on certain houses and certain properties that will become available, which helps me help my investors a little bit more because of the inside track. So, I'm a pastor as well, but I just trying to stick to a lot of things that help individuals with real estate.
So can you back up and tell us how you first got started with real estate?
Wow. The amazing thing is I always wanted to do real estate, but mom said, you're going to go to school, because I just wanted to get my real estate license. So I went ahead and I majored in education. And then the summer I graduated in 97, I went ahead and I got my real estate license. And the main reason I wanted to do it was because when I was purchasing my home, I didn't feel like the real estate agent really took care of me as they should have. And I felt like they were kind of in cahoots with the builder. And so it's always good to have an agent that represents you as a buyer, and then it's always good to have an agent that represents you as the seller. And so I didn't feel like I was represented well. So I really was motivated to make sure I took care of my family. And I really didn't know how much money that you really would make in real estate. And so once I had my first closing, I definitely was hooked on it. So it's always been a good, I would say, side hustle. But a lot of people say you should always be full-time. But what I would tell people is this: even if you have a full-time job, to me, you're always a full-time real estate agent, because you're able to sell to your immediate circle. So when I was a teacher, I was selling a lot of homes to teachers. In fact, what I would do was I would give each school, if I sold a house, so say you teach at Phoebus, I would, if you was a teacher at Phoebus and you bought a home through me, I would give the school $100 donation in that particular person's name. And schools love that. It wasn't too much. It wasn't too little. Because if you give $1,000, you give too much, then they're not going to be motivated to continue to send you clients. And then if you do too little, they're going to be like, dude, really $5? So it really helped me to take over the Cobb County school system. And then I was selling so many teacher next door homes, or good neighbor next door. Good neighbor next door is a HUD program. They don't use it as much, where they put police officers, firefighters, EMT workers, and policemen, EMT workers, teachers, those first responders basically, and teachers. So say if a house is $100,000 in the neighborhood, they'll let the teacher have it for $50,000. And so pretty much they would give these teachers or firefighters half off on particular homes for HUD. And so I would sell so many of them, HUD started calling me anytime they had a good neighbor next door home. They say, hey, Maxwell, we have another home. They would help me on the website and everything. And so that's how I pretty much started really making really good money with real estate, kind of serving my niche where I was.
I like it. You didn't like the service you got. So you were like, let me go do this myself because I could do a better job.
Exactly. I mean, what made it so bad was she went to my church, man. So I felt like, I felt really betrayed. I just felt like she was doing anything. And it was amazing, Tiffany, because I sat there and I was sitting down in the seat. And I just said, I'm sitting there. To this day, I don't know what it was because I didn't know real estate. I just stood up and I said, no, this is not right. It wasn't nothing but the spirit. And so they said, oh, yeah, we're going to change paperwork. And they changed up, and then they had me ended up bringing $1,500 less to the table. But if they would have asked me, what am I talking about? I would have had no idea.
Right.
So whatever they were doing, it wasn't right because they changed the paper. He said, you're right. I see the problem. And he got up, the lawyer got up and changed it. And pretty much I had to bring $1,500 less than they had on the paper. But I had no idea why I said that. It could have been.
And that's amazing for a lot of people who are buying a house, especially their first time, to know that you can bring $1,500 less.
Exactly.
That's a couch set. That's setting up your utilities in the house. That's a good amount of money. That's your warranty, all of it. So, so I think that's why a lot of people are scared to even buy a home. One, they feel like it's an invasion of their stuff because you got to turn in everything except your blood type. But
and that's amazing because I pride myself on taking care of people. And to me, you should always have an agent to represent you. I'm not saying you need Maxwell Realty, but they are good. But what I am saying is you definitely need representation. Especially in the South, especially in Virginia and places like that, because you don't have to pay the agent as a buyer. The seller pays the commission. So as a buyer, you're getting full protection from a real estate expert, and you don't even pay us anything. So I don't know why people go out and get homes without being represented by an agent. To me, it really doesn't make any sense. And it puts you in a vulnerable position, but especially in this day and time when things are inflated. Because even though some of these homes are overpriced, but they still appraise out, sometimes people may go out and purchase a home and buy above the appraised value and have to end up paying more money out of their pocket than they should have, because if it doesn't make appraised value and you don't put in a contract that you're willing to pay above the appraised value, you don't have to pay that particular price. So if a house is worth $200,000 and they're trying to sell it for $215,000 and you put a $215,000 contract on it, but it doesn't appraise for $215,000, it appraises for $200,000, then the seller needs to bring that price down to match the appraised value. And a lot of times people don't understand that when they don't have any representation.
Wow. Yeah, that is definitely important to know. And if you are just tuning in, I'm Tiffany, and you are tuned in to Emerge with co-host Shana Kemp Garnett, and we are talking to Dr. Willard Maxwell, owner and broker of Maxwell Realty. Celebrating June is National Home Ownership Month. So talking about how he started in real estate, and now we're going to go into how he went from a real estate agent to having your own broker firm. So how did you emerge into that business?
Oh, look at the way you play on those words. I like the way you market that. How did you emerge? That's a good one. I like that.
Thank you.
You're good. Yes, the way I emerged into a broker, you have to be a real estate agent for 3 years. And then after 3 years, you can get your broker's license. The amazing thing was I was the youngest person in the room. I was like 25 years old. And so many people were saying, why are you getting your broker's license so early? And you know me, my mouth. And I was like, why are you getting yours so late? So my thing is, to me, I always wanted to mentor people and help them to grow and make money and become blessed. And so me as a broker, I don't try to compete with my agents. I try to send them as many leads as I can. And a lot of times brokers only send leads like through Zillow and other organizations like that we pay into. But a lot of times those customers aren't vetted. So because I'm a pastor, because I'm a NAACP president, because I'm on so many different boards, I meet so many different people, and I go ahead and get them pre-qualified and send those referrals to my agents so they have a vetted client. So brokering, I knew I wanted to become one because I always wanted my own business and to control my own destiny. But let me tell you all, you who become brokers, how the Bible say about preachers, you will be judged more harsh than others. At the end of the day, everything is on you. So if Tiffany Boyle works for me and she does something wrong, sorry to use your name, if she does something wrong, then it still comes to me and I have to straighten that out. And if it continues to come, not only would they go after my agent, they'll go after me because apparently I'm not teaching them what they need to be taught, and they need to stop committing certain violations. So as a broker, you are vulnerable, and you have to learn how to train your agents. You have to make sure that you teach them how to do the contracts. You have to review the contracts within 30 days and things of that nature. But the main reason I became a broker was to empower people to generate wealth. I feel like that's one of my callings. And I always want to teach agents how to make money, investing, how to make money, represent clients, how to get the optimal amount of money for their sellers. And I just love helping people to make money. So that's why that's one of the main motivations I became a broker. Not for me to just make money, but I do make money, but I wanted to make sure I empower other people to make money.
Very nice. Go ahead.
Thank you. So I have a question. So if, any of our listeners who are looking to get into real estate, what are some tips and some pointers you can provide to them? Because right now, with the pandemic, it's huge. Like a lot of my friends have gone into real estate and flipping houses and all that good stuff.
And it's good because you can always flip houses without a license. And I would say definitely put you a team together. Have you a lawyer that you trust, that's used most of the time, because a lot of times they'll give you advice over the phone when some people won't give you advice because they want to get money. But if you use the same particular lawyer most of the time, maybe one or two of them, they'll be able to help you because they understand that you're going to bring them business anyway. So you need a lawyer on your team. If you don't have a broker's license, you need a broker on your team. And a lot of times it's good to deal with a broker, not knocking agents, good to deal with the agents as well. But a lot of times a broker can give more leeway when it comes to commissions and when it comes to the different deals you put together. And you really want a broker who understands how to locate investment properties and how to negotiate them. You need a contractor on your team. You need someone who knows how to fix the homes and able to tell you exactly how much it'll cost as you move forward. You need a CPA. You need somebody that can help you with your taxes and make sure that they teach you how to do different write-offs, because a lot of times people want to get into flipping, and it's good to a certain extent. But when you flip a home, so say if you have a home less than a year, less than 365 days, your capital gains tax is going to be 30%. So if you sell a house and you make a profit of $100,000, right, they're going to tax you 30%, which is Uncle Sam taking $30,000 of your dollars. But if you keep a home if you keep a home more than a year, they tax you 15%, which means if you sell a house and you make a profit of $100,000, they tax you $15,000. But me, I usually rent homes and get the residual income. And so I probably make close to six figures just on rent. So I don't even, if I get sent off my job today, I still be eating a little bit, you understand? And so the residual income, because you can always write it off as a loss, even though you're making money, you're still being able to have a tax write-off. And some people that understand how much money I make, I don't want to say how much money I make, they were upset that I got a stimulus check. But I got a stimulus check because I have so many write-offs. So that means even though I make a certain amount of money, the write-offs that I'm able to generate through real estate puts me in a lower tax bracket. And then also if you do a flip, and so say if you flip a house and you make $30,000 on it, if you buy another house within a year, you can do something called a 1031 tax exchange, which means you can put that $30,000 toward another house and you won't be taxed for that particular money that you made. So it's always good to have a CPA and people that can teach you how to do certain things to make sure that you escape taxes, even though you make money. It's a legal way to do it. I'm not saying do anything illegal, but it's so many ways to write off your profits and with your expenses when you're doing real estate. And the last person you need, to me, you always need to have an insurance person, but you also need an inspector too, because sometimes you may want to send an inspector through there instead of just a contractor to make sure that you know everything that's wrong, because an inspector is going to go under the house. They're going to find so many different things that you may not see because they're trained to just find what's wrong with the house. And so you always want those particular people on your team.
That is some awesome insight. I'm sitting up here and I'm kicking myself. I'm like, because girl, why you didn't have your notebook and your pen ready? But that's okay. I'll have to listen. I'll listen to the playback.
well, you have access to me, so any questions you have, just let me know, because I'm always happy to empower people to make money, because it's to me, when you teach people how to be blessed and become a blessing, God continues to bless you, because God didn't just want to bless you, he want to make you a blessing. And Absolutely. The minute you learn that you're supposed to become a blessing, God gonna give you a good measure of blessing, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So my thing is, so many people don't want to help other people because they don't want to be in competition. It's funny. It's this young man that came to me that owns a real estate company, because right now I was the only fully owned Black brokerage on the peninsula. So, I mean, a lot of people are brokers, but they're really under other people. So he opened up a company and he asked me, would I help mentor him and help him? I said, yes. He said, for real? I said, if you think I'm going to say yes, what you asked me for? You know what I'm saying? Why would I not help you? But I'm right down the street from you. It really doesn't matter, because we're not going to be able to sell houses to every single person in the city ourselves anyway. And if I help you, God going to help me. That's just how I look at it,
That is a good way to look at it. I remember when we were talking about doing the real estate expo, and I wanted to have other realtors there, real estate agents there, because we learned from PJ Parker, who was on the show earlier, there's a difference between a realtor and a real estate agent. That you were like looking at me a little funny. You want other companies here?
I know I hadn't even gotten started, but I was just messing with you. I'm always do it, but I'm gonna look at you. Okay. And look, the funny thing is, we had to drive in church, right? Mm-hmm. Because of the pandemic. So Tiffany, I'm walking around and I see this guy. He said, hey, Maxwell, because I would shake people's hand in the drive-in to make sure that they felt connected. Because, sometimes it was cold, I'd be preaching on the inside and they just see me on the screen. So anyway, I went out there and shook hands. Hey, man, I bought a house. I said, wow, that's amazing. He said, yeah, because I came to your expo that you, Tiffany Boyle and the other agents did. I said, okay. I said, hold on. Can I answer you in two ways? Can I answer you as a broker and as a pastor? He said, yeah. Okay, as a pastor, I'm very happy you bought a house. As a broker, I'm upset that you didn't use me and you came to my expo. So he was like, I said, I'm just joking. He said, man, I just figured you were too busy. Dude, why would I have a company if I'm too busy to serve you? But it's all good. So he went through another company that was there, but it really didn't bother me. The human side of you definitely got to beat the flesh to submission, because you're like, dude, you came to my place and you didn't buy through me. But it still was good because somebody was empowered to buy a home instead of renting. So I'm just happy that he bought a house.
That is awesome.
I'm going to put both of y'all on the spot. So when is this next expo? I've heard about it. I've seen pictures. I've seen success stories. But when is the next one? What's the plan?
That's a good question. Yeah. We're going to say it's a good question.
I mean, hey, we can do one. See, I got this InTouch coming up in August. I mean, we could do one.
I feel like fall. I see it in the atmosphere. Fall 2022. Y'all might be busy.
We might do one in September then. I don't know. September, baby.
Okay, we'll claim September.
Because October is going to be busy with her event, and then I have a revival going on. So I would say maybe September, because it's funny. I was thinking about this because today I have, I have this week. This past Saturday, I see how I did that. This past Saturday, I had my Investor Masterminds class at 9 a.m. Angela Reason, our clerk of court, she taught us about probate and and it's the last day because they've been in there for a year. I pretty much had a cohort for a year teaching them about real estate, investing, how to become investors and how to escape certain taxes and things of that nature, and how to do a creative finance and owner finance and things of that nature. And so now this is, unless they renew the membership, that was particularly the last day of class. So I'm pretty much free. So that's good. That's a good spot question, Miss Journalist. That's a good one, Mrs. Shana. Good. So yes, I say September, Miss Tiffany, if you want to do another one.
Willard Maxwell, please let us know, what does the word emerge mean to you?
Emerge means to me coming out of darkness and coming into the light. And I would say this, how preachers always say God didn't bury you, he planted you. And a lot of times God plants us and we don't feel like we're planted. We feel like we are buried, but God plants us and allows the light to grow us. And so I just love the word emerge. I just feel like you're emerging out of the shadows into the light and just tremendous growth. And you all are so awesome, man. So emerge always just means success to me, because to see you as a commissioner of the revenue, to see you doing so many different things. You're talking about me, you do so many different things as well. So I just appreciate even just being able to be on this show. So I believe you are going to emerge my business out of the shadows into the light. So thank you all so much for what you do.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, did you give us social media?
Oh, look at you. Look at you. You can hit me on social media on Instagram at Willard.Maxwell. You got to put the period in between it, or it's somebody else. So you can hit me on Willard.Maxwell, Facebook, Willard Maxwell, or you can go to Maxwell Realty on Instagram as well. But the easiest way to contact me is just come to me, Willard.Maxwell on Instagram, Willard Maxwell on Facebook, Willard Maxwell on Twitter. So those are my social media handles. And contact me anytime you like. Ask me even random questions, and I promise you I'll help walk you through it. Now, if you have an agent, there's only so much things I can say. If you already have an agent, a real estate agent or a realtor or a broker, it's only so much I can do when you are using someone else because of ethical reasons. So if you don't have an agent, then let me know. And then even if sometimes you do have an agent, you ask certain questions, I'm not ever going to try to steal anyone's client, but I definitely will be able to answer things that I can ethically answer without breaching your contract with that particular person. So a lot of people do call me when they have an agent already, but I give you limited answers because I really don't want to cause any conflict with your person that's representing you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Deshana. I don't know if you knew we had a celebrity on Emerge show today, but you can also just Google Willard Maxwell. And I always joke because I'm like, I don't know what title to say, Reverend, Pastor, Doctor, NAACP President. I have no idea. So you can always just Google Willard Maxwell, and I'm sure he's going to pop up.
Yes, Tiffany, you know what? I've been in his presence for a long time. And he's always so humble, so down to earth. And when you were like, doctor, he does this, he said, I'm like, yes, put me in the right company. And when it comes to his social media, I just found him on all the platforms he's mentioned. So it is very easy to find. So I would encourage our listeners, if you are driving, just wait, of course. But once you get to a stationary place, make sure you find him on all social media. Just from looking at his Instagram, you can tell that it's something that if you're having a bad day, you're going to find something of purpose there, something inspiring. And if you're looking for real estate, there's information up there as well. So I encourage everybody listening to make sure you follow Willard.Maxwell.
You are so awesome. Thank y'all. I feel special.
Thank you so much for being on the show and dropping some knowledge for us today and encouraging people during Home Ownership Month to go out and buy a home. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Deshana Kemp Garnett, and it's time for my 2 cents. So if you all have been listening throughout the weeks, you all know that this is not my normal voice. Your girl has been out having such a blast this summer. I've lost my voice. And last week, one of the things I really focused on talking about or giving my opinion on was it being summertime and making sure we didn't derail ourselves from our goals that we set from our business. If you listened last week, you would have remembered me saying that if you must take time away or time off, figure out how to incorporate your business into that time away. And I have been doing just that. So last week, I went to the Emerge networking event that we had, and I met some amazing people. If you hear me talk about ladies around the globe, they had a brunch at Monroe Rooftop last Saturday. So I went to all those events. And what that really made me think about was, one, it's hot outside, it's warm. You want to get out, you want to mingle, you want to meet people. And then another thing it made me think about was that old saying, you have to spend money to make money. And so with me, I'm very intentional about the goals I have for my business, but I'm also very intentional about, hey, I work hard, I play even harder. So when I sat down and I thought about that, what I wanted to share with y'all today is just, you can have fun as a business owner. Yes, we have a lot to do. We're entrepreneurs, we're small business owners. We might have employees. We might just be self-employed, doing it all on our own. You can incorporate fun into your business. And so with the networking event, Of course, I had to pay, to attend, one of these events, but I made some amazing contacts. Some people that, you'll hear on the show, some people I'll be able to partner with and do some things down the road. So the investment might not pay off immediately, but it's coming. You never know what kind of friendships you can develop. You never know what's going to grow out of those business relationships. And then at the LAG 757 brunch at Monroe Rooftop, I met some prospective clients. And so me just being out there doing something I would normally do, just having brunch with my girlfriends, led into a business opportunity. So as you're out on the summer, you're out having fun around town, look at some of those mixers and networking events, make sure you're checking the Emerge social media, ladies around the globe. If you're a woman and you want to have a sisterhood, look at all those events. Not only is it a good time, it's a great way to get your name and your business out there. So that's kind of what I wanted to focus on. You can turn fun into income. I'm Deshana Kemp Garnett, and that's my 2 cents. Ladies Around the Globe presents Fab Mornings with LAG. Join Ladies Around the Gym, 6:30 a.m. on Tuesdays. This will take place at River Farm Park, 100 City Farm Road, Newport News, Virginia, 23602. For additional information, visit www.ladiesaroundtheglobe.com. 1865 Brewing, Emerge, and RPEO presents a monthly business networking mixer every fourth Wednesday. It will take place from 5 to 7 p.m. at 1865 Brewing, 9 South Mallory Street, Hampton, Virginia, 23666. The Emerge Awards and Premiere, the must-attend event of the year. Emerge presents a 3-day event all about entrepreneurs starting Sunday, October 16th through Tuesday, October 18th. For more information about these events, you can visit www.emergepremiere.com. Also, tickets go on sale starting July 1st. The first 50 people to get their tickets will get a personal invitation to a private mastermind meeting with millionaires. You can learn from them and ask them questions. We look forward to seeing you at our premiere. A special thank you to the guests on today's episode. If you missed out on today's show or to hear previous episodes, visit us on www.emergethemagazine.com.
Emerge yourself.